Good morning to everybody. It's a big pleasure to be here with you today. And now I believe we can start our parallel session 3 that I'm Federico Chmet, the chairs of this parallel section. And I believe we can start the presentation of the first paper. The title of the first paper is Sustainable Business Model, Innovation of Halal Beef in the Indonesian Muslim Minority Area. The presenter we have here. So I believe that you can start. Thank you to be here and thank you for your paper and for your presentation.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Federico, the chair of this session's conference. Good morning, Mr. Federico, and good afternoon for all of you in Indonesia, I think. Let me introduce myself. My name is Akhmad Mahbubi from Department of Agribusiness, Faculty of Science and Technology, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University, Jakarta, Indonesia. At this moment, I would like to present my paper. The title is Sustainable Business Model Innovation of Halal Beef in the Indonesian Muslims Minority Areas. These presentations consist of introductions, methods, results and discussions, conclusion and implications. The introductions. Indonesia is the largest Muslim population in the worldwide. Indonesians has 5 Muslim minority areas, including Bali, NTT, North Sulawesi, West Papua, and Papua Province. Bali is a popular destination for Muslim travelers from within Indonesia and other countries. Both Muslim citizens and travelers require halal foods. In Muslim minority areas, halal risk events in the beef supply chain are higher than in the Muslim majority areas. We have identified the halal critical point in each level, which predominantly in processor level, which have 6 halal critical points, mainly in the stunning processing. Furthermore, the halal beef business in Indonesia, including in Muslim minority area, still contributes significantly to greenhouse gas emissions. We have reported that halal beef productions in Indonesia contributed to 38.1 kilogram of carbon dioxide equivalent per package boneless. Historically, companies have relied on product innovation to enhance their halal assurance and to minimize emissions. However, current trends dictate the need for a shift toward business model innovations. According to Bagnoli et al., 2021, business actors must frame and align product innovation with business model innovations. Therefore, this study aims is to develop sustainable halal beef business model. This study utilized a descriptive research design that involved conducting a consumer survey with intrinsic and extrinsic attribute and halal beef actor survey through 9 elements of the business model canvas and 4 elements of the value innovation framework. This study, I interview the middle class Muslim consumer for quantitative and key stakeholders in the halal beef supply chain for halal qualitative in Denpasar, province of Bali, and Kupang, province of Nusa Tenggara Timur. Consumer survey encompasses 110 responders were selected using a multi-stage random sampling technique, and the survey of actors in the halal beef industry involved 13 participants who were chosen through purposive sampling. Data analysis use important performance analysis of assessment of value proportion and emission and content analysis through business model canvas and value innovation framework. In the one hand, I assess the important and performance analysis for consumers. This figure shows that there are 9 important attributes for Muslim consumers in Muslim minority area. 7 attributes are intrinsic categories, including newness, appearance, aroma, texture, hygiene, halal label, and free of residues. Two attributes are intrinsic categories, including Muslim sub-owner and beef price attribute. This is different from the important attribute for Muslim consumers in Muslim majority area, which priorities only 7 intrinsic attribute. This figure show attribute perform below the level of importance. Also, this figure shows a rank of activities that contribute to emission, such as the management of cattle dung by farmers, the cleavage of cattle by processors, and the delivery of beef by retailers. Therefore, a balance must be struck between of value provided to customer and environmental impact. Effective management of this trade-off is essential to ensure the long-term sustainability of the halal meat business. On the other hand, I assess the kind of halal beef business model using business model canvas. This is the current of halal beef business model. According to the important and performance analysis and value emission metric, and this current of halal business model, I developed the future of halal beef business model. As you can see in this figure, halal beef actors should eliminate the fat content, the red color, on halal beef. The actors must reduce the focus on the attribute of size, grade, taste, nutritional value, production origin, beef availability, packaging, shopping location, display in the shop, easy to prepare, traceability price, and Muslim shop owner. They should raise focus on attribute of newness, appearance, halal beef, halal label, textures, aroma, hygiene, and free of residues. They should create the online store services. Halal beef value chain actors should eliminate aging activities. They do their activities according to what they are currently doing, such as the preparation of cattle houses by feed slaughter and cattle distribution to the abattoir by beef producers. They should raise activities that impact values and emissions, such as slaughtering by beef producer and feeding by feed slaughters. They should create the online services and halal certificate of the store. Business model innovation, complete value innovation through the integration of product, of value proposition, and process value innovation or key activities with other elements. Business model value innovation should change relationship pattern from collaborative transaction to collaborative processes. In addition, information technology resources can be utilized for online services development as a new distribution channel. For conclusions, in Muslim minority area, Muslim consumers exhibit a propensity for selecting halal beef based on both intrinsic and extrinsic factors. The reputation of the butcher shop and the pricing of halal beef are deemed of utmost importance by them. All stakeholders in the halal meat industry, including farmers, processors, and retailers, carefully consider the environmental impact of value-adding activities, such as the management of cattle dung by farmers, cleavage of cattle by processor, and delivery of beef by a retailer, which can contribute to emissions. The halal beef business model in the future must eliminate fat content in meat, reduce focus on non-priority attributes such as size and taste, increase attention to priority attributes such as aroma, and create things that consumers are concerned about, such as halal certificates in store. Implication: to ensure the integrity of halal beef value chain, it is imperative that all actors manage their respective activities carefully. This includes concentrating on activities that contribute positively to the value proposition while minimizing any adverse environmental impact. The attainment of this objective relies heavily on the establishment and maintenance of strong collaborative relationship between all stakeholders along the halal value chain in Muslim minority area. Resume. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I believe that this is a very interesting paper. You develop a very interesting topic. I want to know if there are questions for our colleagues. I have a questions about what you could be about the future implication about this study. For example, what you will develop about this topic in the future, your future study about it.
Okay. Thank you very much for your valuable question, Mr. Federico. I think in the future, we can explore the dynamic system of business model innovation. I think we can improve the new business model innovation. Probably in the next sessions, we should implement this business model to minimal scale for small community scale, and we can evaluate to improve new business model innovation. I think it is my opinion.
Thank you for your answering. There are other questions for our colleague here about this paper, this presentation that I found very interesting and well done.
Yes.
May I ask the question for Mr. Akhmad Mahbubi?
Yes.
So here, if I from what I have understood was in this paper you are trying to figure out the sustainable business model of halal beef industry.
Yes.
And throughout the supply chain. But here I want to ask about the sustainability measurement for this supply chain, and maybe you can put the what we call the bold in which measurement you can present. I mean, you can make it clearer
Yes.
for the sustainability point.
Yes. Thank you so much for your valuable questions. This figure shows the value emission type of matrix. This is the vertical value proposition, and horizontal is emissions. This is the activities that contributed to the emissions, from farmers to retailers. The activities that high impact to the emissions is manure cleaning in farmers level. As you can see in this figure, this is the activities from farmers to retailers. We identified the highest emission in all process from on-farm to off-farm, from farmers to retailers. The highest is manure cleaning. This is in D, in part D, manure cleaning. We suggest for the farmers should be process the manure cleaning For example, in Jabodetabek, one farmers develop minor cleaning without waste. For this part C, this is the activity that can impact to the low emissions from farmers to retailers. We should notice the minor cleaning to reduce greenhouse gas emission impact in Indonesia. I think.
Okay. As my background of education is economics, so basically this what we call this technique of this industry, I don't know that detail. But maybe you can refer to one of reference that stating the measurement of sustainability in halal what was it?
Halal beef.
Halal beef industry in
yes. For the assessment, the environmental sustainability, I have published the sustainability beef in the halal beef Indonesian halal beef supply chain. I measure the emission using life cycle analysis, LCA. How as you can see in the background in the introductions, we have identified, we have calculated halal beef productions from farmers to retailers. Halal beef production in Indonesia contribute to 38.1 kilogram of carbon dioxide equivalent. These calculations, we use life cycle assessment in each activity from farmers to retailers.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Retno Widiyanti.
Thank you, Mr. Federico. Also.
You're welcome. So, I believe that now we can move in the second presentation of our papers of this section. I believe that we have the second paper, a very interesting paper, exploring green banking performance of Islamic banks in Indonesia. So if you can stop the sharing of the screen, we can move on the second presentation.
How to stop this share screen?
You can use the second. Our colleague Sarah, that represented this paper about sustainable business model innovation. So I leave the floor, and you can share your screen and your presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Can you see the share screen? All right, I'll start from good afternoon. Please introduce me. My name is Sarah. Here I am presenting my paper with Ms. Retno entitled Exploring Green Banking Performance of Islamic Banks in Indonesia. First, as an introduction, there are some points that we highlight about green banking as a main topic on this paper. First is global transition to green banking. As we know, a sustainable movement in the financial sector called green banking has become a global norm that binds the financial sector to be socially and environmentally responsible. Means that there is a global transition to green banking in banking industry. Now, focus on green banking in Indonesia, both conventional and Islamic banks are increasingly focusing on green banking. And according to a survey, conventional banks hold a stronger green banking image compared to the Islamic banks in subsidy. But fact says that green banking inherently harmonizes with Islamic principles, considered it is a core term in Islamic banking, saying that Islamic banks has lower image than conventional banks before on green banking could be because of the public perception of green banking and Islamic bank that influenced by various factors, especially factors related to transparency in disclosing green banking initiatives that impacting company value. Now, the challenge is even some progress has been made in reporting green banking practice through sustainability reports. There are still limited empirical research on how banks respond to green banking within corporate social responsibility. And saying that there is a progress in reporting green banking practice, but the lack of standardized indicators hampers the implementation. So to addressing the gap, this studies is focused on Indonesian Islamic banks by utilizing the Green Banking Disclosure Index by BOSE and JQuen's typology for assessing alignment with green banking objectives. There is no universally accepted definition of green banking, but it varies widely between countries. But according to Green Banking Report, green banking could be defined as initiative to establish, support, and promote sustainable banking practice and also reduce carbon footprints in bank activities. Then about the Islamic perspective on green banking, studies state that green banking and Islam are like two sides of the same coin. The environment is built holistically and comprehensively in Islam. Protection of the environment and public welfare has been mentioned in the Quran and Hadith. Then now talking about the other side, but still in green banking, that is sustainability report. A sustainability report is defined as a report that contains economic, environmental, and social impacts caused by the daily activities carried by a company. Therefore, sustainability report also include about the green banking initiatives. As mentioned before, this study used JQuen's typology on banking and sustainable development and green banking disclosure index or GVDE developed by BOSE on 2018. JQuen developed a banking and sustainable development typology to depict how banks transition to the sustainable stage. There are 4 phases on this typology. First phase is defensive banking. At this stage, banks tend to choose between being inactive or simply being followers who comply with laws governing environmental issues and sustainable development. And the second is preventive banking, the stage that is totally different from the previous one, where banks are actively pursuing potential environment cost saving and eco-efficiencies. And the third is offensive banking, where banks consider their external activities in addition to their internal ones, and when they start to develop and marketing their eco-friendly products. And the last phase is, of course, sustainable banking, where in this last step to become sustainable banking, while win-win solutions are embraced, the corporate philosophy does not look for the highest financial rate of return, but the highest sustainable rate of return, while remaining profitable in the long run. And also for the green banking indicators, we use BOSE that has developed as many as 21 indicators. In measuring bank activities, they are in line with green banking goals that then called as Green Banking Disclosure Index. Now the method is, this study is a literature study with 6 Islamic banks as a samples following the OJK regulation, where the steps are, first is analyze the GBDI indicators using the literature study method, and second is adopting the 21 indicators of GBDI into the JQuen's typology. third is quantify and describe the contents of the bank's report into GBDE using the content analysis method. And last is determining the phase in which the sample banking is located refers to sequence typology. Now, the result is, after analyzing the 21 indicators of green banking disclosure index with the literature study, here we conclude a brief definition that represents each of these indicators. For example, as you can see, GBDE1 represents bank's policy indicators, and the GBDE2 represents green finance indicators, and also the others. Then, as mentioned before, that this study used both sequence typology and GBDE, we adopt the 21 indicators of GBDE into the sequence typology. And here what we got as a result, where each of steps of sequence typology has its indicators of GBDE to measure. And also, as you can see, where the 6 Islamic banks stand according to the sequence typology, according to the identification from 2017 to 2021, 2 out of 6 Islamic banks that are Bank Muamalat and BTP and Sharia are in offensive banking phase, while the rest are still in the preventive banking phase, based on the identification results of GBDE in recent years. Now, as seen on the slide, 2 banks are in the phase of offensive banking are Muamalat and BTP and Sharia. Muamalat is the first Islamic bank to be established in Indonesia. It has published its sustainability report since 2017 and disclosed as many as 16 index. Also, BTP and Sharia, which the only Sharia commercial bank in Indonesia that focus on providing service for empowering customer in inclusive communities and developing inclusive finance, even it just started published its sustainability report since 2019, but it has already disclosed as many as 17 indexes. And the other banks that are in the phase of preventive banking, first is Bank Aladdin Syariah, the first purely digital bank in Indonesia, has disclosed as many as 14 index, and Bank Panin Dubai Syariah, a bank that owns Dubai Islamic Bank as its shareholder, has disclosed as many as 12 index. And also Bank Aceh, a special regional Islamic bank in Aceh province, has disclosed as many as 11 index total. And the last is Bank Mega Syariah, a bank under the Citicorp Group, which it is a large company that has a very wide network and various lines of business, not only in finance, but also in retail, media, and also transportation. And it has disclosed as many as 15 index so far. Now, the conclusion from this study is green banking disclosure indicators developed by BOSE at 2018 are able to describe and measure a bank's ability and initiative in carrying out and implementing green banking practice into its operational system. According to sequence typology, only 2 out of 6 Islamic banks are in the offensive banking phase, and the rest are in the preventive banking phase based on the identification result of GBDE in recent years. They have been moving towards the initiative to implement sustainability in their internal banking operation. But however, these banks have included sustainability criteria in environmentally and socially responsible credit and investment risk management, and also reported their green banking related activities. So from this point of view, it is reasonable to argue that banks have started the transition process to move on to the next phase. So the implication of this study is that the government, also the banking industry, should have the roadmap plan in moving towards the initiative to implement sustainability in the internal banking operations. It is consists of GBDE 11 and GBDE 12, which relates to environmental awareness and bank screen awards. And that's all from me about our research study. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I believe that this is another very interesting paper. Now, I want to know if our colleague has some question about this paper. You must switch on your audio, okay?
I have one question. Miss Sarah Hanifah, Mrs. Sarah Hanifah. The critical point for qualitative analysis is reliability check. How you evaluate the reliability check for content analysis?
Okay. I do the reliability check through, I think, from keywords that I conclude from the literature study. I mean, when I found some research paper or research study as my reference, I search it by the words, by the keywords of each indicators. Like I said before that, I conclude a brief definition of each indicators. So from that point, I could find some research through that to that brief definition as represents the indicators. So, and I found it as a keywords to find a reliable like literature that I used to as a reference.
For the next question, is it okay? Okay.
Thanks.
Why you didn't utilize kappa coefficient for this content analysis?
I'm sorry.
Kappa coefficient, because in the qualitative analysis, the kappa coefficient is a familiar reliability check in the content analysis.
I'm sorry.
Okay, can I enter the forum?
Yes, yes.
Sorry. So maybe me and Sarah, we actually we don't know about what is kappa coefficient. So maybe I can make a bit clearer about our research. So this research basically qualitative as the but it is not perspective based. I mean, we don't use questionnaire. We don't make something like survey. We don't have the survey. We don't do survey, but we use the report. So it is not primary data. It is secondary data. Where we collect from the sustainability reports from banks, from Islamic banks in Indonesia. Out of 13, if I'm not mistaken, out of 13 banks, I mean Islamic banks, only 8 of them who make the sustainability report accessible for us, and then we use the Bose et al. Indicators, the 21 indicators that indicate the sustainability of green banking, and then we categorize them into some those indicators, and then after that we classify, or we use the typology according to JCAN, as Sarah has mentioned before. So we don't use the survey here like that, sir.
Okay.
I have a question, so that I believe that this is one of my research topics, so I'm very interested about it. I want to know about what kind of sustainability we are focused on this research. We are focused on Islamic finance, sustainability investment, or we are focused on the part on only green investment or social investment. Which part we are focused on this research?
Okay, Sarah can answer, I believe.
Okay, maybe I can answer it. This study is focused on both sustainability finance. Actually, green banking is all have about green finance, or you can say it as sustainability finance, also green operations or sustainability operations. I mean, all about sustainability that environmentally and socially impact for the advantage of the sustainability, and the banks are included in green banking. That's what I take for this point on for the green banking.
Okay, thank you very much for answer me. Now,
thank you.
Now, do you want to represent your paper?
Is it for me, Mr. Federico?
Yes, it's for you.
Okay. Okay, I will present the other paper written by me and Aryasatya. Okay.
Okay. The title of the paper is the effect of carbon emission disclosure of company valuation, a case study of a company listed in Indonesia Sharia stock index.
Okay, but I cannot share. System preference. I will send my file from email. Can you help me to share?
Yes.
Because okay.
You send me an email.
Wait. Is it Federico, right?
Yes, Federico. But Federico Chmet.
Okay.
Not
Lanzalonga.
Lanzalonga. No, I'm the other that you can see in the last email.
Ah. It is not. So it is another Federico.
We are both Federico.
Ah, okay. Okay, I got it.
I leave the floor and you can represent your paper. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Federico. This is our works, the effect of carbon emission disclosure on company valuation. So different from Sarah, we did the sustainability report for banking industry, but with Aryasatya, we do the sustainability report of companies that it is listed on Indonesian Sharia stock index. So they are companies that are Sharia compliant. Okay, so this is the introduction. According to our recent issue, the phenomenon of global warming, due to economic activity, it becomes a huge issue. And also the Paris Agreement exists to solve environmental problems. And Indonesia is one of the countries that signed the Paris Agreement. And then Indonesia ranked 5th in producing the most carbon emission in the world. So it is a bad news. The emergence of various regulations regarding environmental reporting obligation for companies, and we urge that stock investors on the success of corporate governance, it should have the sustainability report. And our research, based on this research gap, the research conducted in panel data regression analysis, and also this research in order to reveal the what we call as carbon emission disclosure regarding the company that registered in Indonesian Sharia stock. And the research conducted between 2017 till 2021. So the main problem is whether this carbon emission disclosure influence the valuation of companies in Indonesia that are included in Indonesian Sharia Stock Index. So our literature review, it is the basic theory, investment and capital market in the economy, that investment has a very important role in supporting the nation's economy because it can help increase production, also the country's GDP, and also provide opportunities for people to work due to the creation of jobs. In order to achieve the large economic growth, the state must focus on 3 main components, one of which is increasing investment. And also the capital market is the task with processing investment flows aimed at supporting economic growth. And also investment in Sharia shares has an important role in spurring the development of the existing economy. While company valuation in this research defined as the current value of a company, which is often linked to share prices. Also, what are the factors affecting company valuation? According to some researchers, several factors that influence the company's valuation include managerial ownership, company growth, dividend policy, profitability, and also company size. In the other previous studies, profitability and company size are factors that have a positive influence on company value. Also, this one, profitability and company size, refer to some previous studies. And then this variable, carbon emission disclosure, is another variable that we include in this research as the main analysis, as the main research question. So carbon emission disclosure is disclosure of information related to carbon emission, that it is important thing for stakeholders, especially investors who tend to be more interested in companies that disclose environmental consideration. So this is the research plan. The carbon emission disclosure as independent variable, and the other variables which give effect to company valuation are profitability and company size. And the hypothesis that we use, the disclosure of carbon emission affect the company valuation. So the research method using the quantitative approach, the data is secondary data that officially published in their companies that are listed in Indonesian Stock Exchange. And the companies, we use all of the companies that registered in ISSE. So the sample, we use the data from January 2017 till December 2021. So here are the variables that we use. Company valuation refer to market capitalization of the company at the end of the financial year. Carbon emission disclosure is carbon disclosure checklist from the carbon disclosure project, which has a value range from 0 to 18. And then profitability refer to ROA, return on asset, and return on equity of the company. Also, the company size refer to total company assets. Analysis that we have done using ordinary least square regression. So this is the model of econometric that we have done. And the result was basically the carbon emission has the significant effect, while the profitability also have the significant effect to the company valuation, but the company size has no significant effect. That's all our presentation today. Thank you very much for your time. I give back the time for the chair session.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Now, there are some questions of your colleagues. I have a questions, and I wanna ask you about one thing. What could be the practical implication about your study?
Okay. Basically, this study give more attention to the industry that we want to show that the concern about the carbon disclosure is matter. I mean, this carbon disclosure, you as a company, as the industry, you should pay attention to the disclosure, to report your activity regard to this carbon emission, so that your valuation, your company valuation, have the increasing value, something like that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There are other questions about it? No, we haven't other questions about our colleagues. So, it's a big pleasure to be here with you. I hope that this conference will like, and you can find some important things around our colleagues around the world. And it's a big pleasure to have you here in our conference.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
So,
much. are